There are places in this world where the unexplained will suddenly become akin to comfort, allowing the bizarre to bleed into the atmosphere. Within the city of Jefferson, Texas, resides such a location, in the form of a hotel that shares the city's name, in which the things that go bump in the night have begun to open doors, roam the halls, and reveal themselves. The question is why? Why is this happening? Having never been there, I can't answer that question. But on October 1st and 2nd, 50 of you will have the chance to join me for a weekend-long paranormal investigation at AGH Presents The Ghosts of the Jefferson Hotel. My friends, I am incredibly excited about this event. To those of you that have already purchased your tickets, thank you so much. I look forward to meeting you face to face in Jefferson, Texas. And for those of you who wish to join us at AGH Presents The Ghosts of the Jefferson Hotel, VIP tickets are sold out and there's only 15 gold tickets left. But you can get your gold tickets while they last by clicking the ticket link, which I've posted below in the description box. Having said that, let's jump right into the In a Crowded Room podcast. Hey, what's up everybody? Chad Calek here, and welcome back to the In a Crowded Room podcast for episode number 133, which there's a lot going on out there in the UFO world, and a lot of you have sent me some footage we're going to talk about quickly here, asking me what I thought, and most of you, I assume, have probably seen this. And if not, I will put it up on the screen here, and I will hit play in a second. It is supposedly footage that was captured in Germany. And how this came to my attention is a couple people sent it to me from Tyler on Secure Team. Did a live chat in which he was throwing up all kinds of different videos and commenting on whether or not he thought it was real. And many of you have said to me, Tyler claims this is real, and he says this is footage of the TR3-B, right? The Belgian wave crafts, the triangle crafts with the red light in the middle and all that. And so I watched it 3 different times, and afterwards I will tell you what I think. So, all right, look at the screen right now. I'm going to hit play. Here we go.
Start this one over. What is that? It's behind the trees. That is a TR3-B. It's got the red light in the center. That is amazing.
Well, as excited as Tyler is here, without question, I can emphatically tell you this is absolutely fake. Look, immediately it looks pretty good. There's some things right away that I found to be peculiar, even before I even get to the technical side of what I'm going to talk about here. I just think it's funny that or it seemed odd that this car is just trailing a TR3-B that's cruising down the highway at what appears to be, the speed limit. And, if the driver didn't have a good enough view at it, it just decides to, move over to the right, in which you can get a sideways angle at it, still maintaining the same speed. And the thing that Tyler goes off about is, it's behind the trees. Look, it's behind the trees. But let me say this too. I enjoy Tyler, and I think I'd probably get along with Tyler. But I enjoy anybody who loves something so much they like dump their life into it. And Tyler's done that. And he's obviously a fighter. He just went through some medical stuff for like a year, and he made it through it, and he came back, and he's got security team back up now. So as a person, without question, I enjoy Tyler. What I can also tell you is he's dead wrong about this footage. It's absolutely fake. This idea that you can't place lights and things like that behind trees is absolutely ridiculous. Of course you can. It's very simple. You can fly any element you want into a screen. They're all, it's binary. It's O's or ones, right? You can change the lighting. You can do all kinds of stuff. So it's more about the context in which it was filmed. But there's things you can just tell if you've used motion software. I am an animator as well. And if you look at this opening move, the way the quote TR3-B moves to the right, you can clearly tell that is motion tracked, meaning the elements were flown in and they were moved around to put them where they want. Anybody who tells you that you can't put elements behind other elements in a screen is ridiculous. Of course you can. And it's actually makes it easier because you have less of the, quote, craft to paint in per frame. Typically, these things are done 24, 30, or 60 frames per second. So that means each second, there's 24, 30, or 60 frames. You have to paint each one of them. One of the giveaways here is, as these lights are going behind these trees, you'll see trees where the lights are shining through it like it would, right? And you'll see the same tree next to it, and as the light goes by, it completely blacks out the light. The reason that is it's really time-consuming to go through each frame and paint and create what that image would look like coming through a tree when you have tons of trees in it. But whoever made this footage, and I guarantee, I promise you this is made footage, or altered footage, they obviously didn't want to sit around and, paint in 24, 30, or 60 frames per second. I don't have the original footage, so I don't know the original frame rate. So what they're doing, they realize that the human eye, our vision is terrible. Our eyes blend things together. That's why when you use a film camera and you're filming on film, all it's doing is literally taking 24 pictures per second. And when you put them together, and you play them 24 pictures per second, our eye can't see when the next picture's coming. So our brain just paints it, and suddenly you see motion picture. That's why it's literally called motion pictures. So what this animator knew is that I don't have to paint these lights through all of these trees. I just have to paint these lights through enough of these trees where the eye can't keep up with each frame that's going by. So it looks like it's just, perfectly dodging in between these trees. But if you slow it down and look, for example, here's one frame. I'll tell you what I'm talking about. You can see that the lights are not painted through all of the trees as they should be. So this is absolutely fakery, I promise you. Nonetheless, a really cool looking clip. I wish guys that would do this stuff would actually say, hey, I use motion software, I used After Effects, I painted this in, this is what I did, the opening move was a little weird, I know, like, so we could actually like look at those things, but yeah, 100%, Tyler is absolutely wrong, and this is fake footage. Having said that, I do have some footage that I find very, very interesting. And I'm kind of 50-50 as to what I think. I'll say this, I'm actually 45% what I think, because I lean towards this being legitimate. And this was sent to me by Ron from Louisville. So Ron, thank you. This is footage of a homesteader. I guess that's what his channel does. It does homesteading. I'm not entirely sure what homesteading videos are. But anyways, in this clip, this gentleman was walking around the woods and setting up his camera. And he's doing a time lapse so that he can get a shot of the Milky Way. And he leaves his camera out, basically for a long period of time so he can, film the night sky. And a very common thing that people do all the time with cameras when they're trying to get time lapses. But as he points out, he says on 4 frames, he captured what he believes to be a UFO. Having said that, let's watch this footage right now.
Kieran here from Homestead. Welcome to our homestead. Last night and every night, I've been going out in the middle of the night and wandering around in the woods in the dark with my tripod and my camera, trying to get a shot of the Milky Way. Last night it was too cloudy, I couldn't see the Milky Way, so I tried to get some of these cool shots of the house. I tried to do a time lapse where I set the camera up and this is 700 pictures of our house. Look, here's a close-up. Can you see it on there?
You can show it on the screen.
Kind of, not really.
I'll show it on the screen. You can see the stars and you can see the clouds, and the clouds are moving. And then I combine the 700 pictures together to make a video. While I was doing this, something flew overhead and I got shots of it on here. So now I'm going to show the girls this. We also woke up and, let's show that thing out there. Our little screened-in porch, that's like my base camp where I set up my camera equipment. I got my extra batteries and stuff.
Oh, Lily's
we
up
woke
there.
up this morning and it was flipped over in the driveway, which is crazy because there was no storm last night. There was no rain.
It didn't even rain out.
It wasn't windy out at all. So I think the aliens attacked us. There's aliens. It's UFOs. So look at this.
Short story,
Look,
Dad got abducted by aliens when he was a little girl.
here's number 1. Kitty, watch.
You need to clean your screen.
Yeah, I do.
Keep going.
What is that? I swear to God, I did not edit that. This photo isn't edited at all. I didn't even change the brightness. I didn't crop it. I did nothing. This is the original photo out of my camera. No lie.
Go to no.
Zoom
Go to.
in on it.
I will. Look. Does that look like an airplane to you?
No, it looks
A
like
helicopter? A drone?
It looks like a red
It's not
light
my drone.
above it. It looks like
Okay,
a
watch.
light where a stick would
Watch.
be,
Here's
like
where
a
it gets
post
scarier.
light.
Watch this. Watch.
Oh shoot.
Look at the light coming off of it.
I said
I showed this to Alyssa a while ago. She's like, "Oh, you faked it." Like, what did I fake?
You
How did I
yeet it
fake
up
that?
in the air.
What? There's lights coming off of it. There's like a spotlight. It's trying to find me again.
where the government's gonna come murder us.
That's
if,
it.
If you don't have it, we don't post
Look
any
at you
videos.
can see it in the
we're
clouds.
dead.
Okay, so now we're gonna zoom into it.
If we do
I showed this to Mom and she said,
She said it's a helicopter.
I showed it to Jen.
But
I
just
showed it to Jen.
Wait until he zooms in.
They have all this stuff on TV now about how there's unidentified flying objects, and Mom's just saying, And now I catch one on camera on our property right overhead. I was out there when this came by.
Was it fast?
I was out there when this came by. I heard something and it sounded just like an engine, like an airplane or something. But then I looked up and I said, what the HFTMLMNOP is that? And then I got those three shots. I was on the tripod and I went click, click, click.
What time was it?
And then it flew off that way. And then I tried to get a shot of it going that way, but it was... Okay, here we go. We're cropping into the... This is the clearest one. There. That's a helicopter?
That's what it was.
Is that a helicopter?
It looks like little seats.
Look, you can see stars behind it. If this was a helicopter, wouldn't there be like a thing here and this, and then a propeller,
And then a
thing?
person? Because this camera zooms in far and you can
see a window here.
Look, like that looks like a tiny part where the conductor would be or something.
What?
What are these red things? There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
There's 8
6, 7.
aliens in it. And they're all.
There are 8 windows. They're from Mars.
Oh my gosh!
They're tourists.
It's probably a window.
They're tourists and they're looking out the window and they're like, look at these idiots down here. They think they're homesteaders. We should go get Mom's reaction. Show this to her. It's a helicopter.
We already got her reaction.
Just leave a comment down below. What is it then?
Okay, so what about this footage do I like? First and foremost, like I said, context. It's a father that explains what he was doing, but more than anything, he's very, very excited to show his children. Maybe he's just an evil person and wants to lie to his kids. I know that I would not lie to my daughter. I wouldn't lie to Laura. I wouldn't lie to anybody about something like this if I captured it. And he seems genuinely excited, and he seems genuinely confused. The fact that it was a still camera, taking still images, that he's then bringing together to create motion picture. I love that because we could see the rolling screen, which lets us know that these photos are first generation. So, it'd be different if he said, hey, look at this right here, and he's got it in like After Effects or he's got it in Photoshop or something like that. But he just has it clearly in a program that is just pulling still shots off of his camera. So that makes me believe that it's first generation. He zooms in on the object, which I love because we get a good shot of it, and it doesn't appear to be a craft that I've seen before as far as shapes go. I do have one thought on this, which we'll come back to in a second, of something that it might be. I love the natural light that he's shooting this in. It's not obstructed. The light is coming down over the forest. But the fact that it's only 4 frames, even if his camera was taking a photo every 1 second, which if he's doing time lapse, he's probably doing 1 photo every probably half to 3/4 of a second. So the camera's basically just going click, 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 click. Then he brings it together to create motion picture. But what that tells me, if it's only 4 frames, it tells me whatever that is that's in the sky, it's cruising really fast. Really, really fast. And my only thought as to what it might be is a helicopter. But think about this. If a helicopter is going over a forest and it has a searchlight out, it's searching for something. So typically the speed on a search is going to be a lot slower. To only be in 4 frames, in and out and gone, it's just it's a high velocity. This thing is cruising. So why would a helicopter be cruising that fast with its light on? Now, the object does not look like anything I've seen, but it could be. And I'm not even saying that I think it is, but it's possible that it could be what's called a motion blur. If it's moving that fast, which it would be, the lights kind of streak. And if you look, it looks like it has a bunch of tiny little lights on it. That doesn't necessarily mean that there's tiny lights on it. It could mean, with the motion blur, that there's 1 light on it. And as the camera snaps the photo, this thing is moving fast enough, it's painting consecutive images on top of itself of whatever this object is. Could it be a helicopter? It could be. I would have to go out there and actually, redo his process to kind of figure this out. It could be. But what gives me pause about it is the velocity, the speed. Helicopters are not known for being like jets. And at 4 frames per second, at the distance that this is, or even 4 frames every second, 3 or 4 seconds for this to completely rip through his field of vision, which is pretty wide, it would have to be moving really fast. And we see that the object was moving really, really fast, which is why it's motion blurred. So it could be a helicopter, could be, but I have a tendency to believe that it was something different because of the size of it. Helicopters are usually pretty small. And helicopters usually have blinking lights, right? They don't have a glowing light on the front. And this appears to be some kind of glowing light that is motion blurred to appear like it's wrapped around. Again, I love that it's a first generation photo. I love that it's still frames. I believe him when he says that this is not altered. It doesn't appear to be altered. It's in natural light. This is a pretty good piece of footage. This is something that I would say deserves more scrutiny. Like, you know, I would love to, like I said, go out there and set up a camera the same way, see exactly what he did, and get the rest of the details. But this is the kind of stuff that I really, really dig, man. I love stuff like this. And compare this to, like, the first piece of footage that I showed you. And you see that, you know, you can really tell which one's altered and which one, you know, appears to be legitimate. And just back to context, once again, I mean, if I was behind a TR3-B like that first footage, and I was filming it, whenever it disappeared or if it took off or whatever, I mean, I would have the camera flipped back. I'd be talking to that camera. I'd be identifying myself. I'd be like, that's the wildest thing I've ever seen. Like, but none of that's there. And it's because someone just, you know, filmed the footage from the inside of a car and then panned it over towards the trees. And so that one's obviously fake. And in the second piece of footage, you know, like I said, the context around it all makes sense to me. And I love the fact that he's, like I said, sharing it with his daughters, and they're kind of giggling about it and laughing about it because they don't know, and he's super excited about it. Like, all that seems very real world to me, you know. And you got to keep in mind, you know, when you watch a lot of these videos on YouTube, yes, there are a ton that are fake. There's a ton, because it's very tempting for animators to polish their skills. And that answer to the question, I've heard a lot of people say, well, why would someone make fake UFO videos? Because they're animators practicing. That's how you practice. You make fake shit and you release it and you see if people could buy into it. I don't think it's nefarious in any way. I don't think there's someone sitting out in their house going, I will fool the world today and make them believe in my lies. I mean, this is software, and animators make a ton of cash, and it's a very, very, very tedious, detailed craft that you have to practice to get good at. And one of the best ways to practice it, you know, is doing stuff like this. So I just wanted to say thank you guys for sending me these videos. I had a lot of fun looking at these. If you enjoy more videos like this, I would be more than happy to do stuff like this more often. And, you know, I hope the explanations and everything make sense. Sometimes, because I know just from being a filmmaker, what I see when I look at stuff right away, it's like sometimes when I explain things, I like skip steps. It frustrates Laura sometimes. But I do love kind of showing this, because, and I would tell anybody, even for paranormal investigators, even for like ghost hunters, one of the things that has helped me out the most in my life in not only determining if my own footage was real and can't be explained, but even looking at other people's footage, is just a fundamental understanding of filmmaking and animation and photoshopping and After Effects and you know, motion software. And you know, after a while, you'll be able to pick it up just by eyeing it of what's fake and what's not. But it's really, that would be the number one advice I would give to paranormal investigators. If you really, really want to get good at what you do and you want to know what's real and what's not, spend time learning how to animate. Spend time learning how to do CGI and like all that stuff, because that's going to, you know, make it very clear and very easy to determine what's fake and what's not. And yes, I have seen all kinds of fake stuff on paranormal shows that were out there. I can guarantee you that. And maybe one day I'll get more specific and break some hearts. But right now, I just want to, you know, say, I definitely take the time to learn that stuff. If you're going to be an investigator, it'll go a long way. And please keep sending me footage like this, and I will let you guys know, you know, if I think it's real or if I think it's fake, and I'll do my best to explain why. And if you have any questions about anything, that you saw here. Leave me your questions in the comments or DM me on Instagram at AGHChad. And that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this episode of the In a Crowded Room podcast. I will be back tomorrow with more. All the best.